Penny, of course, I would release.
Because I believed in myself.
Being an artist was the last thing on my list. I had to stop all of that. Real conversation. There's a real importance to just owning it. And that this journey, everyone else is on it as well.
My thoughts spiraled like mad.
Hello, my name is Nissy T and I am here at the Rebound Roundtable. So just in case you're wondering who the hell is this young lady, I am a content creator, a speaker, I'm also a confidence coach and a social media marketing consultant as well. But we're not here to talk about myself. I have some incredible people around this table today to have a real candid, real conversation about what it is to be a creative in today's age. I think it's really important for us to have these kind of conversations because I think there's a lot of things that we perceive that might not necessarily be true when it comes to being an artist or a creative. But enough from me, it's time for us to actually meet the people around the table today. So I'm actually going to start it off. Normally I like to do first, ladies first or whatever, but you know what, we're going to start off with Solaris over here. Solaris, thank you so much for coming first and foremost. We have the incredible, the amazingly talented saxophonist over here. Listen, I have to give props where props are due because you are super, super talented. I've seen you perform before, I've seen your work, so you are great at what you do. So incredible. And then over here, we have this beautiful, beautiful young lady. Let me get your name right first and foremost. That's what I need to do. Olivia Maduro.
Yes.
Perfect. Who is an incredible singer with a beautiful voice. Now, normally I would then say you're a singer, so we have to hear you sing, but I'm not going to do that today. Okay? Do not worry. You don't have to work, you don't have to do anything. We're not going to do that today. Maybe off camera, maybe we might get you to do that. And then on this side, we have an incredible young lady, incredible at what she does, number one, and just an amazing personality as a whole. I've fallen in love with her already. Tana Monroe. Yes, who is a painter. But I would say that you're a lot more than that as well. Definitely a lot more. We'll get into that a little bit later on as well. And then, of course, last but not least, we have the man himself behind the name, the legend behind Rebound. He is an artiste. He is a visual artist. He is a graphic artist. I don't know what else to kind of put in there, but you are a lot of things. Yeah. Definitely a lot of sauce in there. There we go. Maggie. You gotta come through the Maggie, the all-purpose, the everything, right there. But you are definitely that guy. And if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be here today as well. So we appreciate you, the one and only Nigel.
Wow, thank you.
Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for having us. We appreciate you and what you're doing as well.
Thank you.
Listen, you have to give props where they are due. But as I did mention before, we're all here today because we're all artists in some way, shape or form. And it's really important for us to have these kind of conversations because I think a lot of people get sucked into, especially now in 2019, where people feel like they want to call themselves a creative or call themselves an entrepreneur or an artist. But there are a lot of conversations that we don't have about what happens behind the scenes. So it's great knowing the art that you're producing, but today it's all about actually finding out a bit more about the artists behind the art as well. So again, thank you guys so much for being here today. How are you guys all feeling, by the way? You guys excited? Yeah? Excited about the conversation? Yeah. Don't worry, guys. Yeah. Don't worry, I do not bite. I promise you I will not do anything insanely crazy or to hurt you guys or anything like that. Maybe just a tiny bit crazy, but it's okay. I've got my water, we've got our water and our wine glasses, so it's all good. It's gonna keep us, and you've got your coffee, so it's all good. It's all good. But I think it's only right that we first of all give you a proper introduction. So I gave a tiny introduction as to what you guys do, but I want to hear from your own mouths what it is that you do. So please tell us a bit more about you, yourself.
So my name is Solaris. I am a saxophonist, but I would like to say more than saxophonist. I'm a musical creative. So I essentially take all the aspects of musical ability that I have, and I try to just mash them together and come up with something amazing, exciting, and ultimately beautiful. So that includes like my cello from classical training, a bit of bass, a bit of sax, a bit of keys, whatever it may be, just smash it all together and come up with something beautiful. Because music, as sick as it sounds, it's got to have a little bit of soul to it.
Oh, I love that. I love that. As good as it sounds, as sick as it sounds, it has to have soul to it.
Yeah, I feel it.
I love that. You've got to feel it. Okay, amazing. And what about yourself, Olivia?
Well, I'm a songwriter from London.
Okay.
Similar to what you said, I also have an obsession with music and the instruments behind it. So I do like to do a bit of producing, just because I like to be a part of the background of the music, things that a lot of producers don't really get a lot of credit for, the stuff that they do. They really do hold it together. So I love to be a part of that and just watching us co-producing and seeing what you guys do.
You love that, especially.
Yeah. I mean, I think the thing that I pride myself on the most is being a songwriter, because I feel like it gives me the ability to sort of put what I have felt or feeling down and giving people the opportunity to sort of hear it. And my sort of way of delivery is I like to do dance music, upbeat music.
Right.
So it's like the sort of music that you can kind of enjoy, but then when you strip it down and make it acoustic, it's got a completely different meaning.
Right.
And it just gives you a different vibe. Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you so much. And what about yourself, Tana?
I do painting, design, art and design. I've always been in love with black art, erotic art, that sort of figure. So I would say my signature work is erotic art. I feel more comfortable doing women, black women. I think we're beautiful. I think our bodies are curvaceous, just raw. Something beautiful about black women, so I enjoy doing that. My work can be a little raunchy and a little X-rated.
Okay, so because from the moment that you said erotic art, now when you say the word erotic, we all know what comes into your mind. So what do you mean by erotic and raunchy? What does that mean? As in, do you get people being naked in front of you and you draw them, or what's the concept behind it?
Well, to be honest, I haven't had that as yet, as in somebody naked right in front of me. Yes, I might have drawn somebody from memory, but that's, something else.
Somebody from memory. Do they know that you drew them?
Or do now.
Oh, well, they do now. Yeah, they do now. So shout out to whoever it was that she remembered.
Well, yeah, maybe. Maybe they know, but there wasn't a face on the picture. So
Okay.
They don't exactly know, but it was a good memory. It was a good, I can't lie.
I swear. Wow.
But one thing I would love to do would actually love to start taking actual photographs of people. So having couples come together and say, okay, let's set out a erotic scene, take a photograph of that, and then actually paint that rather than painting it live. But yeah, it's just something that I've always been interested in. Right now, I've kind of started dabbling in digital art as well.
Amazing.
So I'm trying to experiment with different mediums.
Oh, yeah, I saw your latest piece. That was nice.
Thank you. Yeah, I've done
Okay, this is not fair because you've seen some of it. I think the rest of us need to see. Do you have anything that you can show? Because now I'm interested in this erotic art that you're talking about.
I'm gonna have to find something. Yeah.
Okay, well, while we're speaking to Nigel, I think you need to go and find something for us to see because I'm intrigued. I don't know about you guys, but I'm really intrigued now about what you mean by erotic art.
I'll get some pieces up for you.
Okay, well, while you're having a look and trying to find something for us that's maybe, I was going to say not too X-rated, but why the hell, go for it. Why the hell not?
I'll put out one if you talk about it.
Go ahead, but yeah, while you're doing that, let's just go over to Nigel really quickly. Obviously, I mentioned right at the beginning that you are the man behind the Rebound, which was an event which is you had a few months ago from now, actually.
April 27th.
April 27th. So, was that your first event?
First everything.
First everything. Okay, well, just in case people don't really know who you are and what you do, first of all, let's just start with that. If you don't mind explaining a little bit about what you do first.
So I started as a traditional painter and now I transitioned into digital painting.
Right.
Of late, my subject matter has been about, sort of rebounding from mediocrity.
Okay. What do you mean by that?
So essentially, like when we first met.
Yeah.
So I was of the mind where I'm stuck in this retail situation, and it's all these negative thoughts that's not letting me progress.
Right.
And I think I had a change of pace, like seeing you at Shades of Beauty.
Yeah.
Was
That
one
was
of-
last year. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was like, wow, I didn't think I'd be in a situation where I get to talk to Missy T.
Okay. I don't know why that's a big deal, but hey. Okay.
Because you're here for this, but big up yourself.
Listen.
Remember you said you're a
I'm
conference
great
coach?
and I'm amazing. I can't even lie. I'm just playing.
You left out one thing, award winning.
Oh yes. We do. We try. We're trying to collect those awards, but we try. But this is not about me. This is about you. So we met at Shades of Beauty Live, and so you were in the mindset of. So would you say that you felt stuck? You felt like you were stuck in one place.
Yes.
Right.
So I felt like as I was getting older, I would just move sideways.
Yeah.
And I became that old person at a job, sort of working minimum wage and seeing nothing from it.
Wow.
So and then I actually quit.
Wow.
But in a year of unemployment, I really got to know what my support system was, and then that changed my mindset. And so I went about going to events and seeing people I never thought I'd meet, like you, and then in response, I would do portraits as a tribute to having such amazing transactions.
Oh wow. Okay. So for you, it was more a case of someone having, even if it's just a conversation, a one-on-one conversation, but if they contributed in some way to you progressing, whether it be mentally, emotionally, spiritually, whatever it is, you felt as though that for you was rebounding off of maybe where you were in the past. Okay, that makes complete sense. Wow. And you felt like I contributed like that?
Yes.
I got a portrait, that's why I can say that. I got a portrait. It hangs in my room. I do appreciate it. Oh no, amazing stuff. Okay, we're going to come back to that conversation in a second, because I think that's a really important one to have, about the mental health aspect and the mindset that a lot of people have, because a lot of people don't get the privilege of you're an artist today and all of a sudden you're making hundreds and thousands of pounds and you can live off of it. So I think it's definitely important for us to come back to that. But first of all, I saw you pulled something up on there, so I'm not gonna lie, I think we need to see.
I'll show you this one.
Oh.
It's a little raunchy.
Okay, Lord. Okay. Wait. Let me see. Let me see, because my eyes about to
I've
fall out.
never seen that one.
This is when
This is
I
getting
first
demonetized.
sort of started.
Can I have a look?
Oh, well, damn.
Take it, girl.
Wow.
You scared?
Do you know what? For a second, I did not see the other part. I've just seen the other part. Do you know, I thought that was her boob, but then I said, why does her boob have two aspects?
Yeah.
Wow. Can I get
Have it.
Loris don't want to get too close.
This is very
can't lie to you.
explicit.
Yeah, that's one of the raunchy ones.
Yeah.
One of the raunchy. Okay, right.
Yeah.
We're gonna put this away for a second. I hope that anyone that was watching this doesn't have children around, because
You're gonna pixelate it. I would have.
yeah, we might need to pixelate
Do you know what?
that.
I'm gonna show you one that's a fresh one.
Was that, okay, my question is this. Was that as in you were seeing that live in front of you?
Is that one you remember?
No, that one was imagination.
Oh, just your imagination.
I had been deprived for a very long time.
Okay.
So my imagination was just in things,
Okay.
and that's what came out. But this one, I'm gonna say the erotic,
Okay.
but this one's of
Oh,
Is that Green Lisa?
sunflower.
Yeah.
Yes.
I work
Oh,
with
this is gorgeous.
certain silhouettes and certain bodies,
Right.
and then take it from
Wow.
there.
Yeah, guys. Yeah.
Pretty cool.
That's amazing. And do you do this all on a computer, or is this?
So that one was digital art.
Right.
The first one was actual canvas paper. I also do on canvas as well. I have a company called Black Canvas. So yeah, selling pieces,
That's
doing
incredible.
pieces. Send me a picture and I'll do you.
Oh.
It doesn't have to be erotic. But
Yeah, you ain't gonna get anything like the one that you just showed us.
Yeah.
You're definitely not getting. Solari is like,
I can't do you. You nervous?
No, yeah, it's not for me. So
no, you wouldn't pose.
PG,
PG?
I keep it all PG.
Exactly.
That needs to be tea right now.
Literally, the realest, or whatever. I don't drink, but if wine or
We
something.
could do something with your shirt.
I ain't got those abs. You're just throwing a cardboard on me like that.
Wow.
cow.
He said a
Let me get the
cardboard.
print top in it. Unless you want to like add them on top of it, before
I mean, I can draw it
I
on.
can add illusions, but you know.
I don't want to focus on
And some illusion. Oh my goodness. Okay, well, do you know what? First of all, thank you so much for even showing us some of your art. That is amazing, and clearly you are an incredible artist,
Thank you.
irrespective of what it is that you stay out here drawing. But it's cool because it's art. It's cool. It's art. It's art. Woo. But you are incredibly talented, and so are each and every one of you in this room. But one of the things that I really wanted to ask you today was whether or not, you know, you stepping into the industry, let's just call it that, as a creative or as an artist, was what you expected it to be. Because I think a lot of people, again, have that a level of expectation that they might think, you know, oh yeah, it's an industry where, I don't know, I just do my first piece of art and then everything kind of sets off, or people in the industry are very welcoming, etc. But what would you say your experience was coming into the creative industry? Was it what you expected at all?
Not at all.
No. Why did you say that?
I think we all knew that it was a dream for a start, and I think when we got into it, well, I can imagine everyone else will say the same, that it wasn't something that fell in our laps, in the sense where we kind of wanted to do it from children, like that's what you wanted to do. You knew that's what you wanted to do. To be honest with you, I don't even remember when I decided that it's the career I want to do seriously. I think I was in school.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, oh, it's fine, I'm going to get started by the time I get to college. I don't need to look at colleges.
Wow.
I remember thinking that.
Wow.
Like, I really remember thinking that. And just thinking it was so easy. Like, I knew how to sing, I knew how to write, I knew how to play the piano. I just needed the right producer to just like come through the doors and just give me the opportunity to work.
Just
with
say,
me.
here you go, here's the deal, sign it, you're
Not
good.
even just the deal, just to work with me and just to us to make something.
Right.
I just like thought it was that easy. I mean, I think when I started taking music seriously, and it was during college when I decided I didn't get the grades, because I wasn't interested in education at all. So I didn't do anything, I just literally did it because it was what I was supposed to do.
Right.
And then when I didn't get the grades, I decided that I wanted to do music. My parents obviously were just like, no, but I did it anyway. And it was a thing where you meet so many people and you watch them grow, and it's like, you need to understand that this journey, everyone else is on it as well, and it's not revolved around you. So it's like they can't prioritize you. And when you get that mindset that it's not just you, that it makes sense, and it's probably a better mindset to get yourself into, because that way you're kind of doing it for yourself.
Yeah.
So, I mean, definitely not as easy as I thought it was going to be.
Not as easy as you thought, yeah. A question for you guys actually. Did you guys find yourself thinking the same thing? Were you the type of people that grew up as kids saying, I want to be a painter, or I want to be a saxophonist, or was it just something that you picked up later on?
For me, yes and no. As in, when I was young, I remember I was like, oh, I wanted to be many things. I was like, oh, I'm going to be a doctor, and at the same time, I'm going to be a scientist. At the same time, I'm going to be what's it called, like a marathon runner, and this and that.
Right.
And then I think music was one of the first things that hit me first, and it was like, okay, this dream is like not going to happen. That was the first like dream of mine when I was young that hit me. It was like, it's not going to happen.
Why was that?
I remember.
As in music, as in being a musician,
Yeah.
i.e. rapping,
like,
singing.
being a musician, like in the sense that I knew as a kid, like seeing people on TV singing,
Right.
and rapping, like that was the first one that I realised that okay, it wasn't gonna be for me, because I remember when I saw on TV were like singers who looked a certain way, and like back in the days you didn't get many like black singers who were like what's it called super popular, except like your Beyonce's and Whitney Houston's and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
And especially the music I wanted to do at the time, it was like, it wasn't like black populated. And when you thought of like black men in music, it was all rap. I remember my brother telling me that, oh, if you're gonna be a rapper, just be prepared to die, because back in the day, like rap beef was like,
wow.
rap beef was like all that. And I remember I was looking at Akon, and I was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna be like Akon, because Akon's the only like rap singer.
A bit
He's
different,
like,
right?
He's not gonna get shot, but
Let me play it safe for me like Akon, so that I don't end up dying.
yeah, like, but being like a musician didn't hit me until like I've got to give a lot of my credit to like the Arts Council and like all the funding that the government used to do, but they used to do, because literally I stumbled into music to where I am now. Like I only started playing saxophone like 4 years ago.
Oh wow.
What?
Yeah.
That's insane.
So it wasn't even too long ago.
I thought this was like, I was 5 and I picked up my first saxophone. It was bigger than me. But
Yeah, I
that's
wish.
where it started. Wow.
But at the same time, like, literally, like, I just stumbled into it and, like, I'm here and trying to make the most of it. So, I never really had the experience of, like, not finding it. I knew it was going to be hard from the get-go when I was, like, 5. But I didn't think I'd be at the point where I am now.
Yeah.
I could have never told you I'd be here at all.
Wow. So for yourself, it's more you stumbled into it. It was pretty much an accident. I don't really believe in accidents, but it was almost like you never expected it when you were younger. Yeah. What about yourself, Nigel?
No, I'm just not. First of all, you were levels for that.
Incredible.
4 years, your levels for that.
Wow.
Given I used to play, like, cello when I was, like, 11, so...
Oh wow. So you were always musical.
Is it the same? Like not the same, obviously, but you know, like the piano with the cards and chords. Like when you play,
Cello is like...
is it similar in any way?
It's like... it's more like playing the bass.
Okay.
That's...
Oh yeah, cello. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay, cool. I'm trying to think of the different because clearly I was an instrumental child when I was young.
Big violin, small violin.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm trying to figure out which instrument. I'm like, is that the one that they like Titanic? Is that that's what I think. The bigger one? Okay, cool. Right. I'm close enough. That's what we need to do. But yeah, what about yourself, Nigel? So obviously you do visual art, you do a lot of digital art as well. Was it always something that you just knew you were gonna do, or did you kind of grow into it later?
I think it was a thing where being in a single parent household and my mum's overprotective. So they were always felt tip pens. So it was not a thing I was pushing that direction, but that was there to, just take my time up.
Right.
So it was a thing that I kind of just stumbled on because at one point I wanted to be a dentist, but then I got my tooth removed and I was like, that's wrong. That's painful.
You're like, I cannot do this to anybody else.
And then I thought I wanted to be an architect because I actually used to build a lot of stuff with my hands.
Wow.
So I was actually good with my hands in general.
Right.
And I think through school, even though I was doing things like maths and all sorts, I was going towards everything that's creative. So I did drama, I did music, but art always stuck with me.
Right.
And so, I don't know, it wasn't a thing where I thought it was... Do you know, it's a weird one because I don't think art is taught properly in the first place. What you see is a lot of books of dead people, and then you walk around and you see them in museums. And that's generally your idea to idolize. And growing up, this isn't a time where you're completely aware of the racial discrimination in any creative sector or in general. So I thought I should just keep doing art. And when people tell you you're good at this, and you start believing it for yourself, it's like first your friends tell you you're good at it, then you believe you're good at it, then you think, okay, I can take this on.
Right.
But there's a point where life follows a certain natural progression, but at a certain level, there isn't a natural progression, which I don't think life prepares you for. And I think that's where it sort of hit for me, where it's like, okay, I'm now on my own in this.
Right.
And so,
yeah. Okay, well, we're going to come back to that in a second as well. Yeah, what about yourself, Tana? I don't know about erotic art. I hope that you weren't too and thinking about drawing pictures like that, because that would be worrying, but
do we move the page?
at the very least, a painter.
Do you know what? As a number one, I know for a fact that being an artist was the last thing on my list.
Wow.
I loved it as a subject in school, and I felt like it was very therapeutic. But in school, I didn't believe I had the talent that I have now.
Wow.
And even though I studied it in college, my art sketchbooks are nothing compared to what I can do now. Like, they would never believe it's the same person. Do you know what I mean? It was literally just because I love the subject while I'm doing it. But I can't even say they taught me. Everything I've done is self-taught. The way I stumbled into this was, I believe in 2016, I was in a job that I absolutely hated. And all day I used to do was doodle all the time. To the point where I'm looking at my images, realizing that if you put your mind to it, you can actually come up with something. and then I started doing little sketches for a while, and then I actually went through a breakup, and then after that, I was just painting, drawing, and before that, in college, I could not paint. I could draw to extent, but every time I put like colour to a picture or tried to colour regarding like felt tips or anything, in my eyes I spoke the picture because I didn't know how to blend, I didn't know how to paint. So I believe everything happens for a reason, but I know that that job that I was bored with, I was placed in that by God in the first place. And then from that, for me, I feel like I've now found what I'm supposed to pursue. And yeah, because I genuinely didn't think I was going to be an artist. And before I had that job, I had gone to uni to do youth work and stuff like that. So that was the last thing that I would think I'd be doing right now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Isn't it insane how sometimes the most dramatic or traumatic situations can breed some of the most beautiful things? I think a lot of people, because you could have had a choice there, you could have been, obviously you probably had your moment to be heartbroken, etc. We've all been there, done that, okay? Been there, done that, have the t-shirts, everything. But you could have taken that on and just basically just been upset, nothing comes out of it, but I guess you chose to try something different with it, which I think is such a beautiful, piece about art.
Attitude.
Exactly, changing your attitude towards it. Something that I did really want to ask you actually is something that you mentioned earlier. So obviously you said that everyone that you saw and that you saw on TV, online, whatever it was either a rapper or fell into a certain category when it came to black men as an artist, right? Whereas you decided that you wanted to go in a bit of a different route. Did you find that was quite difficult for you, especially being able to explain? And you're from where in London?
South London.
So from South London. So culturally, maybe a lot of people wouldn't. Like, I don't think I would walk down South London and 90% of people would tell me that they play the cello or the saxophone. So how was navigating that in terms of being a young black man growing up in somewhere like South London and being like, yeah, I play the cello? Did you ever find pressures? Did you ever find it difficult telling people that? Or was it just like this is me, just deal with it type thing?
Yeah, well, I won't lie, like, there's other people who would probably have gone through my situation and had it worse, but I'll say that I was extremely blessed, just because the way that I stumbled into it, literally, like, in primary school, I was the only kid that was ever in detention, sitting in the room, went into the library, saw my friends playing it, and then decided I wanted to do it.
Wow.
And
were these other black boys as well?
I remember it was a black boy. This is when they started pushing like classical music into primary schools. Right. Like, and I was just in year 6, like almost finishing up. It was a black guy, my friend Elijah, and then 2 Asian other students. And as they went to lunch, I just quickly fumbled and I liked the sound. And like at the time, it was like, this is like different because everybody on the ends would be playing football. Like, being a rapper wasn't even like there yet, like how the UK scene. Being a rapper wasn't even there yet. It was just like everybody wants to be a baller.
Yeah.
Or if you're old enough, everybody wants to go uni and do uni stuff, whatever it is. But once I started playing cello, at first I was like, people are gonna start like getting at me like, I play classical music. But I feel like there's a real importance to just owning it. So I remember like they did music production classes as well. And I was like, I want to do this. They said, you can't do that unless you continue on cello. And I was like, I really want to do music production, so I'm going to keep doing cello. And then when I had a big cello on my back in year like 7, 8, going to secondary school, she was like, yeah, I play cello. Like, if anyone wants to say something, it doesn't matter. And then I just made it my own, so no one can say anything. Like, what are you going to say? I play cello, and if you want to complain about, okay, what are you doing? Like,
I love that.
That's literally how I came
Energy.
about. Like, energy. But,
Energy.
people
Love
start
it.
to respect it, and like,
Amazing.
it's not the same situation for everybody. Some people like they can just use that as a platform to get at you, but really and truly, like, I just earned it from as soon as I could, and it made way for me, like complete ways.
Yeah, and I want to ask you guys actually in a bit of a different way in terms of expectations, right? And you mentioned, the kind of expectations that other people had, not really caring. But I think something I really wanted to ask you was, I know, like, I have African parents. Okay, don't know about everyone else in the room, but I am from Congo. I have African parents, and I know that they had a certain expectation of me. Their expectation was, you go to school, you come out, you go to sixth form or college, you come out of that, you go to uni, you study, you come out of that, you get a job, you live your life, you buy a car, buy a house, whatever, get married, and that's the end of your life, right? Don't forget the get married part, because that's one of the most important parts. Even though they didn't want you to talk to anyone while you were in school at uni, but that's a conversation for another day. Listen, for real, especially girls, it's a whole different story. But then when you decide that you're going to take a different route, it almost becomes like, what the hell are you doing? Did any of you experience a what the hell are you doing moment with your parents, your family, as artists? Did you ever experience any of that?
I mean, I've always been into like, from being young, playing piano, doing dance schools. So my family always know, like when I got into the piano, what I'd do is when I'd have like singing assemblies at school, I'd then come home and set the piano, because I had a piano from my uncle, with my uncle's piano, and I'll try and figure out the song from memory.
Wow.
Like I can't read music, I've tried, I can, but I'm not as good as I think I could.
Right.
Because I just do it all by memory.
Yeah.
So obviously, my grandma will take me to piano lessons, and so my family's always known I've been into musicals, everything. That was just totally what I was into.
Right.
So, I mean, I think they all kind of knew that I had to do something to do with music. So when I did turn around and say it, I don't think my parents are very modern. They're very British. They're not like that at all. Like my dad's from African background.
Where's your dad from?
Nigeria.
I'm Nigerian. And what about your mum?
My mum's family are Cuban, Jamaican, originally from Cuba. But again, both my parents are very British. Just
Right.
they both were born here and grew up here. It's their parents that were born in Jamaica and Nigeria. So obviously, they're literally the only thing, they have no high expectations of any of us. They just didn't want to come up.
When she said they didn't have no high expectations of us, they just didn't want us to mess
I
up.
mean, I think they did have high expectations in the sense where it's like they just wanted us to just do well, but they didn't want us to be like doctors and that.
Right.
They just didn't want us to just be bums. That's what their problem was. They're both very hard working. Everyone in my family is very hard working, so it's like their mindset was, I mean, great when you do music, but how is it going to pay?
How is it going to bring in the money?
Like, how are you going to do it until you start getting results? Like, that was their mindset. It was very logical, like, I couldn't even argue with it. It was hard to argue. It just literally just came down to because I wanted, and they were sort of just like, well, okay, well, there's nothing I can do about that.
Wow.
And it's like, I don't feel like if it was to flop, they would be like, told you so. I think we're past that stage. I think they've actually been more supportive because they've seen my music and kind of my potential.
Right.
So I think they feel sort of, you know, they've all supported me. Every single member of my family has supported me.
Amazing.
So I'm quite lucky.
Yeah.
I'm quite lucky.
Amazing. And what about, you know, either one of you? Did you have the same situation where it was like very supportive family, everyone being behind you in your corner, or did you feel like you were quite alone in that aspect?
It's tricky with me. I would say, first of all, I'd say my mum and my dad are very different people. Very, very different people.
Right.
I stopped speaking to my dad when I was about 15.
Oh, wow.
But he was very, in my mind, very army type of guy, very militant. He was born in Jamaica. Everything's education, education, education. For me, like, I have no idea who my dad is other than you're sitting down in the car with me talking about maths and times tables and this and that, right. So for me, I know what his expectation was education, education, education. So if he was in my life and I was doing art, I don't really feel like we would be getting along regarding that. With my mum now, it's very different because I'd say my personality, I'm very much a dreamer, I'm very much somebody who's a visionary.
Yeah.
I like to think of law of attraction and manifesting and stuff like that. My mum is very much a realistic person. She is reality queen. So sometimes, like, as much as I feel like she supports me, I don't know if she's just like saying certain things to not necessarily shut me up, but in the sense of like, okay, like I hope it goes well, but I'm not really sure.
Right.
Regarding my art being very sexual, my mum I don't want to say my mom's probably given up with me, but
She's got to the point like, do you know what?
Yeah.
She's just gonna do what she's gonna do.
What does she say when you show it to her? Have you shown her what you showed us?
That's a good one.
the one that I showed you, she was just like, oh.
Oh, you showed it to her.
Well, obviously, I have my like I'm very open. I'm
Mhm.
very open. Like,
Right.
I don't
Makes
really.
But with your mama?
Baby girl.
I
Baby
mean,
girl. Like,
no, but that's amazing though that you have at least that level of that relationship where you can say, do you know what, like, mum, this is me, this is what I do, and you can present
personally,
it.
I think I was more nervous about the public than
Oh yeah.
my mom.
Wow.
Because I feel like a lot of people, like there's one guy who regards me as the girl who's, that girl who draws dicks kind of thing. But in my mind, it's art. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So sometimes it's hard to get through to somebody else's mind that it's not just like in their mind they're thinking it's porn or something like that, or I don't want them to have a certain type of mind or mental image of me,
Right.
because that's not who I am. This is
Yeah.
just what I enjoy doing, and this is how I like to express it.
Right.
But yeah, I would say regarding parents, it's okay. But I would say I've received a lot of support, like from my friends and even other family members. So
Yeah.
it's not been like a non-supportive
Yeah. Completely.
path. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know what? You mentioned something that I think is really important to talk about actually. You obviously mentioned how you were more nervous about what other people were going to say rather than what even your immediate family was going to say. And of course, we have that lovely old thing called social media. That great thing that sometimes can be the best thing ever because it can help to propel your work and propel your, the stuff that you're doing. And it can also be the bane of your life because people seem to have an opinion and apparently their opinion becomes facts.
Yeah.
How have you guys navigated, and I think we'll probably start with Nigel, how have you navigated social media as a platform for your work? Have you found that it's actually helped to elevate your platform and elevate your creative skills? Or have you found that you've been quite, let's say, nervous, or you've held yourself back because you felt like, oh, what are people going to say about me? Or social media, because, we know that there's no filter on social media, ultimately.
I personally believe that if it wasn't for social media, no one would have seen my art apart from friends and family.
Wow.
I remember, actually this is a story that not many people know. When I was at university in Canterbury, they've got this shopping centre called, Phoenix, and they sell art like the other stores, and then they have art on the walls. I emailed them, they called me in, brought my artwork in, and had a talk. They said they'd get back to me. Got an email saying, long story short, art and business don't work.
Art and business doesn't work.
Yeah.
But then they sell art.
Yeah, and they have art based on the area they're in. Like I can see art of like Canterbury on their walls.
Okay.
So I was like, right. Okay.
Right.
So that's one of the things that cut me as well. And so yeah, with social media, it's helped me a lot.
So you think that it's been more of a boost for your art and the work that you're doing outside of, for example, physical, because if we took away social media, you would have to rely on those people in order for your art to move forward. You would have to rely on that person and go to them and say, hey, this is my art, and they would basically have your life and your livelihood in their hands. So for you, it's propelled you. What about, the rest of you guys? I mean, even yourself, Olivia, you're a singer, and we see a lot of artists online, we see singers putting out their work. Has it been something that's helped you? And have you actually experienced criticism as well, online or on social media?
I always kind of say that I'm a bit of an old soul, so I don't really think I really have got my head on social media that much. I'm really not good at it.
Yeah.
I know I need to work on it and be better at it for my own sake.
Right.
But again, I guess that's just a process. But it's like, so far, when I do put things out, you can work on Instagram and promote things, and I have actually received some really, really, really nice feedback. Like I have people that I don't know, and obviously new connections that I'm able to make. So, I mean, it's still early days still, because people just say negative things just because they're behind the keyboard. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
keyboard warriors,
yeah,
that's what we call them.
Yeah, so for me, again, like you said, Nigel, like it has got my music out to people in Australia. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know how.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it's like it has helped a lot, and it's definitely good. Like I use it for good.
Yeah.
Definitely, I do.
Yeah.
It's still
Anyone-
so tricky. It's still so tricky.
Yeah, but you can't even complain about it because it has really helped. It's like a two-edged sword sort of thing. Like that's just the age of the room.
You can
But
really
we
get
can
caught
use
up.
it though. We can utilize it and use it in a good way.
Yeah. What about yourself, Solaris? Have you found that social media has helped to boost your profile, or have you experienced a more negative aspect to it?
Well, I'd say there's two sides to it. Like, I was an old head on social media, but like up until a year ago, I was told you need to boost your social media presence, and I've used that, and it's nice because I put some saxophone videos out, me playing sax, me playing bass, whatever, and like the responses are really nice. Like, it's beyond what I feel like I expect or deserve at this point in my career, but at the same time, it can be a bit challenging because you're managing expectations. You put out something, people are expecting more, and also if you put out something that you just like, but it's not necessarily what you would say that is your craft, but people are expecting more of that, then it puts you in this different space when you're putting out, okay, this is what I actually want to do, and people are like, but we didn't really follow you for that type of stuff. And I feel like I'm balancing, I'm there now, and what I do to
Do people actually come out and say stuff like that? Like, excuse me, this is not what I wanted, and I've subscribed to your channel, your page, or whatever. This is not what I signed up for.
Not really, but like you can. It's like I feel like sometimes it's like anxiety. Like, I remember when I realized I had mad anxiety that last year in April. I was just like, wow. But anxiety comes into play there because it's just like when people come up to you and say, "Oh my gosh, you're so great at time. You're so great at saxophone, so on and so forth," and you're like, "Oh, that's amazing," but like, I do all this other stuff too, and then you go somewhere else and someone says, "Oh my days, you're such a great cellist, oh my days," and you're like, "Yeah, but like, me doing classical music exclusively is not what I want to do, or me playing jazz exclusively is not what I want to do. I want to merge these stuff." So in your mind, you're just battling with the idea that if I do what I really want to do and show these people what I do, like, I'm going to let these people down, and so forth. And social media can come into play in that because you see your numbers blow up so quickly. Well, as soon as you start seeing numbers decrease, then you start thinking, what did I do wrong? But then again, you just gotta like understand that you are not exactly who you put out to be on social media. So like sometimes you have to tell yourself it's not that deep, even though it is. You just tell yourself it's not that deep. Put yourself in that position so like you're like mentally stable.